All right, so it's a little after 9 in the morning. It's pouring down rain in Kyoto. And I am at the, I'm not going to pronounce this right, but Otoga Ninchubishi-ji Temple. This is outside of Kyoto. It was a 3-bus ride. Pilgrimage here took about a little over an hour. And going to be walking around, but you know, there are over 1,000 of these carved stone people, and each one is unique. They're not all that old, although the temple is old. It was originally built back in, I think it was 650, but this temple's been demolished and rebuilt partially, you know, many times, because it's an area that is susceptible to landslides, and so it's just been wiped out several times. So all of these little stone guys here were carved back in the 70s and 80s, where most of them were, where, you know, a guy was preserving the whole thing and started carving one, and then invited everyone from town to come up and learn to carve and to carve their own. And so each one of these is carved by a different person, you know, back in the 70s and 80s. And so, you know, it's not like these are hundreds of years old. They're relatively new, but they look pretty cool nonetheless. So, gonna be walking around and shooting some stuff occasionally. It is pouring down rain, so that's a bitch. And we'll go from there. Another little shot of these guys. Normally this place is really packed with tourists, you know, for good reason. And the fact that I'm here right when it opens, and it's raining, and it's a Monday, you know, helps. So, you know, when I got here, there was maybe 10 or 15 people waiting to get in. And so it's pretty much had the place to myself. I can imagine this place being not nearly as fun if it was filled with tourists. The fact that there's only a few, probably a dozen people here now, definitely makes it a much more enjoyable experience, even though it's raining. This guy's holding the mask. So this place is not very big. You know, you can cover it in 20 minutes or so. And they say that there's 1,000 of these things here, more than 1,000. I don't know. I'm not saying anyone's lying or anything, but it just doesn't seem like 1,000. It's feeling like 850, maybe 900 tops. But I'm sure there's some I didn't see, so maybe I'm sure it's 1,000 because they're not gonna lie about it. And filming with an umbrella, it's not the best, but it's all good. All right, I think we're off to the next spot. So I was walking back to town and came across a girl that I had met on the bus up to the first temple, who was coming out of this other temple and said she liked it better. And so I was like, well, guess I got to see it. And so here we are. I read a little bit about it. It was originally built in 775. It has over 8,000 statues of Buddha, which, okay, that's a lot, but hold on, I'm going to give you a little view here. So 8,000 is a lot, but, you know, they're not the same as the other place, for sure. And a lot of these are gravestones. But the grounds are looking pretty cool. So we'll see what else there is to see here. Fortunately, we're not allowed to go up there. Looks kind of cool, but no go. By the way, on my way out of the last place, I did find a little patch of more statues. So I think that's where the other 150 Buddhas were, not Buddhas, but statues were hiding. And so that makes me feel good inside that, you know, the 1,000 seems like the correct number. So anyway, I got to read the pamphlet again here. It said that, you know, that the statues were Buddhas, you know, but clearly these are gravestones. Oh shit, no photography. Okay, I'm done. So found out that the photography is only for the gravestones, not for the things. And so here's got ourselves some Buddhas. And I'm now realizing that the 8,000 Buddhas are not the gravestones. They're the Buddhas, which they look a lot like rocks. Some of them got a little carving to them, but nevertheless, they look pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. So these are all supposed to be Buddhas. Must be the kids version. Although they were done a long, long time ago. These were done around year 1000. Don't sit here. So another little bamboo grove here. Don't quite get why they have to put all this kind of railing up along the side of the path that you see here. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the floor of the forest, but apparently they seem to think that it's much better. So
So after the temples, I was waiting at the train station to take the train back, and had a little snack of what's called takiyaku, and it's pictured here. It is basically a batter that is fried into these balls, and it has different fillings. Typically, it's filled with pieces of octopus, but you can fill them with, really anything that you want. And I had this dish and was not overly impressed with it. It felt like it was a little underdone, where, the balls were a little soft in between, and it tasted okay. It certainly was not, wonderful. But then realized that back at my hotel, the staff was making it and having people participate to help make it for everyone there. So this next clip is a clip of that.
She shows floor. Oh, すごい。すごい。すごいですね。
Okay, you guys can put any ingredients you want in there.
You guys want some?
I got cheese.
Hey, did you have some?
Just connect.
Yeah, no, two, have two, please. Wait, more people tonight. Oh, do you leave it?
Y'all got it, y'all got it. Y'all got it. I coached them later.
Coach is later.
No, they finished it. Yeah, I got it. They finished it. They're making another plate now. They're making another.
Back to what?
Yeah, he's over.
Oh, South American team surprising. Like, wow, they're playing really well. They're playing really well.
Wait, it's like double duplicate and it doesn't just allow like if I like go like this.
We haven't got one yet.
Yes. 美味しい。
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 めっちゃうまい。
めっちゃうまい。Do you need sauce? Sorry.
So on one of the last days that I was in Kyoto, I booked a night tour to the Fushimi Nyari shrine. This is the shrine that these photos were taken. And because I was in a tour, I did not film a whole lot, but I snapped some photos. And so this area was constructed back in, I think, 600. And all of these torii gates, which are the red, kind of gates that are throughout this site, they are all donated. So either wealthy people or businesses each donate one of those, and they put their names and such on the sides of them. And I asked, like, well, how much does it cost to donate one of those? And was told, probably looking at 25 to 30,000 for one of the larger ones. And in some of the videos here, you see, smaller ones, that obviously would cost a little less. And it was a cool tour. I definitely enjoyed it at night. It was a little challenging for me because pretty much the entire time you're going up the mountain. And so it was lots of climbing up and up and up, which I, struggled with. But, overall, I made it. The tour didn't go all the way to the very top. It went up to a certain spot where you had a nice lookout over the city. That's where our tour ended. And I was, quite frankly, glad about that. I didn't really want to go any further, but at least I made it that high. And then we came down, and it was a cool tour. It was fun doing it at night. And so, if you're in Kyoto, I'd recommend coming here.
So I am at the Nihu Castle. This complex is in basically downtown Kyoto. And I was looking at the brochure, and it looks like there's a lot of cool stuff in there. It was built in 1603 by the first shogun, and it was renovated several times through the third shogun. The inside looks really cool, but I won't get to see that because it is closed today for some reason. Couldn't quite figure out, didn't get the skinny on why it's closed. So I am regulated to the grounds, which are pretty extensive. There's supposed to be a really good example of modern Japanese garden throughout here, so I'm definitely interested in that. So, we're gonna see. I'm gonna walk around, and I will film anything that looks particularly interesting. So, here we go. This is the outside. Nothing terribly exciting here, but do kind of like the water feature. Whoa, whoa. Hey now. That's really not what I wanted to do, but okay, stop. Stop. This thing won't stop twirling. I really should learn how to figure out this thing. Cleaning the pond. Yes. That's why I'm here. Excellent. This is a nice vantage point. Up a set of steps. Looking down on the main castle. Remote. Stairs I came up. Whoop. And then the city beyond. Well, here's a little bit of the Japanese garden. Too bad they don't have the gravel all lined out in ridges and such, but I still think it looks pretty cool. So I was able to get into this painting gallery. Which is nice that they allow me to video and take pictures. Yeah, it's not real big, but hey, better than a poke in the eye. Well, I think that pretty much sums up the Yoho Castle experience. It's not quite what I was expecting. I was looking for a little something more. I think I give this a 2.5 star rating on Yelp. Half the star was because of the gallery. Other than that, it would have been a 2-star. So, can't win them all. So I was advised by a friend that I should go and get Okinoki Miyaki while I was in Kyoto. So I searched out the restaurants that serve this dish and found that there was a prominent one that wasn't too far from where I was living. And I went to go to this restaurant several times, and it was either closed or there was a line way down the street. But I eventually, got there, about 15, 20 minutes before they opened and could get in for the first serving. And ordered, and you sit down in this, bar section, and you order, and they basically make it in front of you. Now, as they were making this, what you see in front of you, I thought that this was my dish, but it's not. It's someone else's dish. And I'll probably get this dish if I ever go back to a restaurant like this. It's a little lighter than the dish that I had. There's a short video afterwards that shows them making my dish and me, having eaten part of it. It was extremely filling, but it was really good. So it was a good time, but I was stuffed afterwards. The other thing about it is that there were like a half a dozen guys at the end of the bar, and they were pounding beers. And it was, it was noon during the week, and it was hot out. They must have had 4 or 5 beers in the time that I was there, and I would have been completely shit-faced if I was drinking the way they were. But anyway, it was a cool experience. I would definitely go back to a restaurant like this, and but I would get this. This doesn't have all the batter
in it, where mine is full of the pancake batter and most of the stuff that's in here. But it was all pretty cool, and so yeah, it was a really cool meal.
So, walking down the street in Kyoto and came across the sword store. Had to go in. So, if you want to know what the dollar price is, if you lop off the last 3 zeros and then multiply by 6, that gets you pretty close to what the dollars are. And then they got armor. So that's 4,000 times 6. That's about $25,000 right there. That'd be cool hanging in your house. That one looks like the most expensive one. I think those are the knives that if you want to kill yourself, that's what you take to yourself. I don't need one. Yeah, so this one here's probably about $700. Or you can get a little one. Pretty cool store. So I'm at the deer park, and here's the deer. You know, I'm less than 200 feet into the park, and they're just all over the place. Not quite sure how long I really need to spend here. Seems like it's kind of a cool thing for 10 minutes, maybe 11. And then I think I'm gonna kind of be over it. Sorry, buddy, I don't have any crackers. Yes, I know, you're very friendly. Yeah, you're very friendly. But I got no treats for you. Sorry. No treats for you. So I just found out that my visa for Vietnam came through. Saw it on my phone, and it was about 1:30 in the afternoon. And so I needed to figure out my plans, whether I was going to stay another day or whether I could pivot and get to Osaka and get a flight for tomorrow. I eventually did get a flight for tomorrow, and so I really am wrapping up the stay at this park. There's a bunch of other stuff at this park, but I was kind of over Kyoto. I was chomping at the bit to get to Vietnam. So that's what I did. So I just checked into my room that is at the airport, the Osaka airport. And this is a 4-star hotel. It's connected to the airport, where you can bring your cart of luggage right up in here. Booked it a few hours ago. There's the airport. It was $73. I think I remember looking at hotels next to SFO, and I think it's a Marriott or a Hilton that is connected to the airport. And it was like $650. And then I got a little to-go meal here at the airport. And that was like $10. So, doesn't quite compare to what you pay for in the States, for sure. So, my flight tomorrow's at 9:30. Got plenty of time to get up, just walk over to the airport and head to Da Nang. All is good.